Hello BookTube, my name is Kate and this is my channel Chapter Kate. And today I'm going to be talking about some recent events. I believe it was last night, I'm not sure if it was yesterday, earlier in the day, or if it was last night. Kanye had a campaign rally in Charleston, South Carolina. I live in South Carolina, so I was dreading it for a number of reasons, one of those being that the majority of the world thinks our state is full of idiots. And I'm not going to fully disagree with that, because I live here. But I also disagree with that because I live here. But that's beside the point and not what I'm here to talk about today. The other reason that I was dreading this is because every time a famous person, celebrity, has a mental illness and has been open about it to the public, it gets thrown around a lot and it is used as a weapon. I am not going to speculate on Kanye West and his mental health in this video at all. He's discussed having bipolar disorder, whether or not he's medicated, whether or not his family is being supportive of him, whether or not he's in a manic episode. It's not my business. So I'm not here to talk about that. As a bipolar person, I'm just going to talk from my own experience. I did take some notes because otherwise, who knows where this is going to go. So this morning I woke up and trying to wake my brain up in the morning, I usually grab my phone and I look at Twitter, and I see what's been going on and things like that. But this morning I woke up and I looked at, the trending page, and I saw some of the things that Kanye West said yesterday. Things that I don't agree with, things that I would never agree with. And then I saw some of the posts that were criticizing him. And it was really painful, honestly. I think as a society we need to learn how to criticize an action rather than other aspects of a person. Because even if you feel like that person deserves to be insulted, whatever you're insulting on them, if it's not relevant to the situation, can be hurting other people. It's like if someone's really hateful and you insult them because of their weight or their orientation or an illness that they have. You're not just insulting them, you're insulting anyone else who shares that quality or that trait or that diagnosis. It hurts to see that much stigma still around. I work in mental health and I have friends in my life that understand mental health. So I sometimes forget I'm under the blissful, belief that people get it now and that understand. That innocent view was kind of stripped away this morning when I just looked online. Just seeing all the terrible things that people say about a disorder and the terrible things they attach it to. When you are diagnosed with bipolar disorder, it's scary for a lot of reasons. Sometimes it can be relieving because you're like, okay, that makes sense. That's helpful. I can get medicated now, or I can get treatment. I kind of know what's going on. But it's also terrifying because it's a chronic condition. That you're never going to, be cured of it. That people are going to say things that are hateful to you and use your diagnosis as an insult and throw it around like an insult or as a reason for you to be hated. And you also know that it only gets worse. One thing about bipolar disorder is that if it's not treated, it does get worse, which is disheartening because it's either, a lifelong medication or just getting worse until I don't feel like a person anymore. So it's hard in general. But then when you go and you see all these things people say, it makes it so much worse. And that's what stigma is. Stigma is when somebody immediately has a terrible opinion about you because of one trait that you have. I grew up seeing the word bipolar thrown around to insult people and to devalue what they're saying. It was thrown around as a reason to look at someone and disregard any of their opinions, any of their views, anything that they complain about or say or concerns that they raise. So receiving that diagnosis myself, I understood a couple things. I understood myself better, but I also understood that People might not take me seriously if they don't want to, and they will use my diagnosis to justify that. I've seen so many words attached to bipolar disorder today. I've seen maniac, I've seen crazy, insane, psychopath, which isn't relevant, and just a lot of other terrible things. A lot of posts just kind of combine a lot of the scary mental illness words into one post, and so that hurts. It's really hard to organize my thoughts right now because not only am I upset, I'm also tired, and I'm also have this diagnosis, and it makes it hard for you to organize your brain. It's very hard to see all these like stop the stigma, mental health matters, and then people sharing around these hotlines every so often. But then when someone's in the limelight that has a disorder, you use it as a reason to mock them. Maybe their actions are signs of an episode. Maybe they're symptoms of their disorder, but they're mocked, and the disorder is connected to that mocking. You know, Britney Spears shaved her head. The amount of bipolar people that I have met that have done something to their hair when they were manic is a lot. It's a lot. I used to dye mine all the time, but it's just, she's mocked for that, even though it could have been a symptom of that, you know. Something that really, really hurts is Van Gogh. He's an artist. Everyone, you know, thinks his art is beautiful. They appreciate it, and, you know, they call him a tragedy, and they say it's so sad that no one appreciated him, you know, in his time. But then, like, you'll see merchandise and, like, art and cute little stickers and stuff that, you know, just show, like, a cute little Van Gogh with, like, a Band-Aid over his ear, or, like, a Van Gogh sticker and then an ear sticker separate, and then they make it cute. And they're like, oh, it was so cute, this little ear thing. The man cut off his ear. That was self-mutilation. And it's cute now. It seems like the world loves a tragedy. They come together, they share all the songs, they share the, you know, photo edits, they get tattoos, they share all the hotlines, and they say, you know, if anyone's ever struggling with this, you can talk to me. But you've already told them that they can't talk to you because you're mocking people that are going through similar circumstance. When people die, they're a tragedy, but when they're alive, they're just a joke. And that's kind of hard to look at. It seems like the world only cares about mental illness when it's mourning. And that goes for a lot of causes. It seems like the world only cares when it's in mourning. And the world only cares if it can get something from it. If it can get art or music or a story. Or if it can use that pain of someone else to push itself higher on some sort of social ladder. People pick and choose their battles depending on what will get them the most praise or give them the most points, I guess. I know this is all over the place, and I don't know, it's hard to know what to say in this when there's so much I want to say, but it almost feels pointless because it's like, who really cares about that? Again, I'm not going to speculate on whether Kanye's actions are the symptoms of an episode. I'm not. But I'm going to say that in manic episodes I've done some things. I've spent $400 on a straightener, flirted with the guy that was giving me the straightener, didn't really realize I was flirting with him, almost led him to my car in a parking garage while I was alone. Didn't realize how dangerous or stupid or irresponsible that was until months later. I've painted my shoes blue. I've reorganized my room 50 million times. I dyed my hair a color that almost got me suspended at work. I've done a lot of things. Most of them were pretty harmless. I can't imagine what kind of damage I could do if I was in the public eye and had almost unlimited resources. And the power that comes with being, you know, famous or revered in society. It's like the higher up you are, like the more potential there is for you to mess up big. And I'm just really thankful that I haven't had any of those missteps broadcast on, all over the world. And then I think about my patients. Where I work is an inpatient facility. A lot of my patients are there for a while. They've been through some of the worst things that I've ever heard. I feel very protective over them. And I can't imagine them going through what they go through in front of the entire world and being broadcast everywhere. And then being mocked and turned into memes when it's their life. Being mentally ill should not give you a free pass to do whatever you want. It should not be used as an excuse. We still have to face consequences for our actions. If we didn't, I would have more money right now. And people would trust me a lot more when I met commitments. However, blaming someone's mental illness for the things that they say is not okay at all. Mocking that mental illness is not okay. At the end of the day, there's a point where you have to show some sort of humanity. I don't ever want people to pity me, but I want them to understand a little bit better the things that I'm talking about, the reason that I talk about it. I'm not always the most articulate. I'm not always the best spokesperson for the things I try to talk about, but I'm doing what I can. I'm doing my best. And all I can do is continue talking about it. Being a person with mental illness is difficult. Not only are you battling your own brain every moment of your life, but you're also battling these expectations of the world. You're battling these immediate negative perceptions of you. You're battling the knowledge that, for me at least, the majority of the bipolar people that I know are dead or consistently criticized in the news or the press. I've seen so many people criticize the fact that people go off their meds. Where I work, we're very pro-medication because we've seen how it works. We're outside of the situation. But when you're in the situation, it's not that easy. I know because I've gone off my meds many times. It's very easy, especially with bipolar disorder, for several reasons. I have my own reasons. For me, it's the knowledge when you're taking those meds every morning or every night, knowing that this is going to be your whole life. The side effects of those medications, dry mouth, feeling shaky, I don't know, just the risks that come with certain things, feeling like everything's kind of muted, not as colorful anymore, feeling like you can't feel, like all of your emotions have been blunted. And then when mania might peek through a little bit, I felt it like the past week maybe. I was so talkative, but I also had so many ideas. I wrote 2 songs. I got things done. I got so creative. I made things. I created things. When you're on that kind of high, it's so hard to know that the medication's gonna squash it. It's so hard to know that, what if you never feel this way again? Nothing can be better than this feeling. It's almost like feeling like once you get off that high that you're never gonna feel again. And that makes it really hard to keep taking the medication. And then you have those people who tell you that they liked you better without it. You were more fun before. I had someone tell me that I used to be more bubbly. So just things like that. It makes it difficult. Really, really difficult. And the world does not help. And I know this sounds so petty, but just don't use the words so casually, If you see your friend called the weather bipolar, or be like, oh, she's always so yes or no, and so bipolar, when you see these things, call them out. I know it might seem silly to you, but the less we normalize that, the better it's going to be in the future. That should be with anything. With any hurtful words people say. Even though it might seem silly and tiny and petty, it builds up, The more you use the word bipolar or OCD or psychotic to describe things that are completely unrelated to an actual mental illness, the less value people give those terms. And the less real those struggles become that people are going through with those things. It becomes a joke. And my life is not a joke. No one's life is a joke. And when something happens to those lives, No one's going to be laughing. They're going to be sad. They're going to be mourning. They're going to go back to posting those hotlines. But I don't want to see that anymore. I don't want to see these hotlines from the same people that mocked this person months ago. When it comes to mental illness, you have to treat them like a human being no matter what they're showing. The irony is that I see these posts mourning Chester Bennington, who had mental health struggles. And then 2 posts down, seeing people make fun of Kanye West. Like, I don't know, it's just hard. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I just know I'm frustrated and I'm tired, and it makes it feel very pointless because there's just barely anybody on my corner of Twitter talking about it, talking about the way that people are using these terms. And it feels pointless to keep talking because it's like, who cares? Does anyone care? I would hope so. But all I can do is keep talking, and that's what I'm going to do. If not in this video, it'll be on Twitter. It'll be in all my videos to come. It'll be in my everyday work. I'm going to keep talking because the only way to stop stigma is to stop it yourself. And that's all I have to say for this video. If you liked this video and you would maybe like to see less serious ones in the future, please subscribe below. That's all. Bye.
Tripping over shadows and I'm drowning